child of God.
It's who you are, and I'm loved.
So I'm going to share one of my favorite, most recent memories of my mom. When I was having a really bad day and couldn't get out of bed because of depression, she didn't tell me to get out of bed. She came into my room and laid down with me and just watched the Great British Baking Show until I felt better. And I just remember thinking, wow, my mom had so much going on, so much pain, and yet here she sits with me making sure I'm okay. My mom, no matter what, constantly made sure everyone was okay. She was so selfless and strong. Even in the hospital on our last day, she tried her best to make sure we were okay. Of course, she couldn't talk, but when she heard our voices, she just kept trying to wake herself up. And even though it was just her eyes opening for a bit and a little groan, I knew that it was her saying, "I love you," and that everything would be okay. I miss getting her daily text saying, "I love you," that got me through the day. I miss seeing her beautiful smile and hearing her voice. And I miss seeing her make beautiful things out of nothing. All we have left are the memories, but they were good. They were so good. So we have the most amazing things to hold on to cherish forever. And now my mom is in a better place, a place with no more pain, a place where she can eat her favorite things like blueberry cake donuts and milkshakes. A place where she can send down pennies to remind us that she's still there. My mom was an amazing woman. She was my Wonder Woman, and without her, our lives are a little dimmer. But with those memories, we can keep that light. My mom was an inspiration to us all, and I am honored and proud to call her my mama.
Thank you, Mara, for sharing that. None of us want to be here. Let's just get that out of the way. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not so young. I was moved Wednesday night in the hospital, coming by to visit. I was moved walking in and finding Janet there wiping the sweat off her brow and off her neck, still being a mom. And then Ron came in, and it doesn't matter how old you get, does it? Your little girls are still your little girl. And she was uncomfortable because her neck kept cranking over. And so they went and got an airline pillow. And Dad was still Dad. We're going to get through this. One of the things that Jill spent a lot of time reading were the Psalms. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." And that is really why we're all here today. Because Jill is in her forever home. She fought the good fight against cancer. And just like the runner she has always been, she has finished the race. Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms." Maybe some of them need remodeled. That was my addition, sorry. "If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. Paul reminds us of this. He says, listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet call. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality. When the perishable has been clothed with the imperishable and the mortal with immortality, then the saying that is written will come true. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? Those words are meant to comfort us. But let's tell the truth. Death hurts. It leaves a void in our lives. We miss those that we love and that have been a part of our lives for as long as we can remember. And sometimes it can overwhelm us and even take us to a dark place of hurt and depression that we can't seem to escape. But that is not where we are today. That is not what Jill fought so valiantly for. She did not fight so that we can be sad and defeated. She fought for hope. She fought for victory. She fought for life. Her life. The life that she had with her precious family. And the life that she had with her church, Paseo, that she had poured so much of herself into. She was a fighter. Some might be nice and say she was competitive, but she was a fighter. You heard it in the note that was just read. I want to share with you that I heard it in Reed's story about their new puppy, Trip. Reed wanted me to know why Jill named their new puppy Trip. It's because she wasn't going to be beaten or defined by her diagnosis of triple negative breast cancer. She was going to beat it. So she took that negative triple and she redefined it into a trip, something positive and loving. And boy, how I heard that Trip loved Jill. And Jill loved that dog, which is crazy to me because she could never be around a dog, or her face and everything would just... But they formed a bond. And at home, when some of the treatments that she had to go through, laying on her side, Trip would just sort of snuggle up to her chest, and he'd be a calming nature. And if any of you have had the blessing of meeting Trip, that's a miracle in and of itself. From what I understand, it's the only time that ever happened. But he would lay there and be still next to her side. She wasn't going to focus on the negative. I heard it in another story that Ethan told me. As we went to visit with the family, I admired the beautiful pallet board wall. In fact, there was a picture earlier of you two in front of it. I was like, that's the wall. And I talked about how beautiful it was. And when I didn't get the response I thought I would. Greg and all three kids started laughing. And I'm like, okay, we're laughing. And Ethan went on to tell me that, he and Jill like to roughhouse every once in a while, like to mix it up. And Ethan was getting a little bigger, but Jill wasn't going to let that deter her. Didn't matter how big he got. And she remembered some of her old basketball days and hip checked him, maybe even a little body blow into the wall, breaking and cracking the drywall. So in typical Jill fashion, she took something broken and she made it beautiful. There's still a hole behind the pallet board. but you wouldn't know it. And that's something else that we will all remember Jill for. Her ability to see something beautiful and worthwhile in what others would consider to be trash. She loved refurbishing, recreating, and repurposing everything. I was sitting there and I commented to my wife, she would love those lamps. That just screams to me. She would repurpose everything, whether it be furniture, decorations, or even people. It was easy to see the amount of care that she put into everything and everyone. But I think it was Greg that put it best when he said, she turned trash into treasure. I mean, just look at me. She made me better. There are a lot of you here, a lot of us here that have been refurbished in one way or another or poured into by Jill. I know that because I've had conversations with a number of you and I've read it in your posts. And I know that you're going to miss her. You spoke of her strength, of her beauty, of her confidence. But you guys need to know something. Jill never saw any of that.